Now that our B can pause, let's give him an attack. We'll open up our B animator controller to start, and let's take the attack B blast animation and drag it right above idle here. I'm going to line it up nice and cleanly and then add a new trigger. This trigger will be named fire, just like our other triggers, and we'll right click, make a transition from any state into that attack animation. I'm going to click on the transition and add a condition to be the fire condition so that when we fire trigger, or when we trigger fire, our animation will play. After our animation plays, we want to make a transition into idle, and we should be good. Now we can call fire and call it or trigger this animation to play anytime. Let's save and jump back into the code. Now to do our fire, we're going to need to set a trigger. Let's just duplicate line 60 with Control D, change this to set trigger, and then make it be the fire trigger. We don't need a parameter there, so we'll remove it. So we're going to stop moving and set the fire trigger. Actually, I think I want to do this right after we wait for our delay though. So let's move that down one line, and then let's add in a wait. So we want to wait until our animation has blasted or fired off, and let's take a look at that to see what I'm talking about. If we look at the B's attack B blast animation, let's just go click on it and then press play. You're going to watch it play and it fires off. He kind of does this charge and then finally does a launch or a blast part right there. And if we double click on it, you can see that there's actually an animation event that the animator already added for us right at the point where he should be doing that firing off or that launching. Let's see if we can select the B right up there and drag and kind of watch it. Let's go select the correct animation, the attack one, and I drag it up. You can see it's right about here where it wants to do the shot, and then it would kind of end it over here. So what I want to do is fire or wait until it gets to right about here and then enable the big blast object. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do two things. First, we're going to wait for a callback from this animation event. And to do that, we can just go to our animator object and just use our shoot animation wrapper, the same thing that we've used before that has an on shoot and an on reload. Once we've added that, we can click on our animation event and just go choose shoot. So now we've got a callback that we can register for when we get to this point and enable our object. Let's go back into the code and make that change. Here we are. Let's just add a new yield statement. We're not going to yield return null though. We'll yield return new wait until, and we're just going to wait, and we're going to add a lambda statement here. So we'll wait until shot started is true. And then we'll generate the shot started Boolean value. And let's go find it real quick. I'll hit F12. It should be up here at the top. I'm going to remove that private keyword because we don't need it. And then in our on enable, let's just register for the on shoot event in that animation wrapper. And then when that happens, we'll call shot, or we'll set shot started to true. So we'll say get component in children, shoot animation wrapper, and then we're going to register for the on shoot. And when we register, or when we get the on shoot, we'll run this lambda statement that simply sets shot started equal to true. So now whenever on shoot is fired from that animation event, shot started will be true, and we'll be able to continue past line 66. Once we've got the shot started, we'll just enable our blaster shot, or our B shot. What do I want to call this? Let's call this the B laser. We'll say B laser dot set active to true. We're going to need to create a B laser game object reference up here, so we'll copy that and go add a serialized field of game object named B laser. Let's jump back into Unity and grab that B laser now. Here we are. Our B laser should be inside of that prefabs folder. This blue laser lightning is the lightning or blast object for our B, and we're just going to drop it right on the effect shoot child. So I'm going to take it and just drop it right onto effect shoot. It should be all zeroed out for its position, and the scale and everything should be at 1. Now, if I press play, I'm going to see this thing just constantly blasting. Let's just go check it out, though. Make sure that it's moving around with our B and just constantly shooting. Yeah, that's exactly what I expect. And now let's go back into the code and turn it off by default. Here we are. We'll copy B laser onto the clipboard, and inside the beginning of start movement, I'm just going to set active to false. So our B laser is not playing. Now our B laser is getting turned on down below, but it's not turning back off. And we're gonna need to make sure that it turns off as well. And since we already have a shot reload, why don't we use that? We can register for the reload event on that animation wrapper. And then when the shot is finished, we can just use that as the reload and then turn our B laser active to false. So to do that, first I'll just copy lines 68 and 69. I'll just select them both and hit Control D. Click right here, hit enter 2 times, get a little bit of space. And let's say we'll replace shot started with shot finished. And then we'll set active on the B laser to false. And then we'll go up to where we register for shot started, right here on line 39. And we don't necessarily want to get this component twice. So we'll take the get component part and we'll just turn that into its own line. So let's call this wrapper equals get component in children shoot animation wrapper. Then we'll say wrapper dot on shoot plus equals, and you get it right here. The shot started equals 2. Oh, I called this wrapped instead of wrapper. And then we'll duplicate it and have an on reload, and that's going to say shot finished equals true. That is what I named my variable. Oh, I haven't generated the variable for shot finished. So we'll copy that. I'm going to go up to shot started, duplicate, and paste. So now we have a shot finished that gets set on reload and a shot started that gets set on shoot. The one last thing that we're going to need to do though is deal with this looping, because shot started is getting set and shot finished is getting set, but they never get set back to false. So after we've done the wait, we also need to just set these variables or these booleans back to false so that they'll be ready for our next use or the next time we loop through here. So say underscore shot started equals false and underscore shot finished, and it's already auto completing. Let's hit Control K, Control D to fix up the formatting, save, do a build, and go test it out. We'll have to make sure we assign the B laser before pressing play. But once it's done, we should see something like this. Here comes our B. Gonna fly on in, stop, load up, blast, and stop. And look at our blast is firing again. That's because we never set up the reload animation event. Let's do that now. The final thing we're going to need to do is go to our B. I'm going to select the B part with the animator. Go to our animation window, and let's go find that attack B blast. We have the animation event right here for shoot, but I forgot to tell us to add the animation event for reload. So right near the end, not all the way at the end, about 1 or 2 frames before, we're going to hit the plus on animation event and add a new animation event. You can see that little tiny blue sliver there. On the animation event, we'll choose reload, we'll save, press play, and now everything should work. And here we go. The B is flying down. Let's let him shoot. And it's looking good so far. There we go. And it goes away. We still got 2 little things to adjust on this, but we'll do those in the next section. For now, let's stop playing, go into plastic, and add our commit notes that the B moves and blasts properly. I guess he just blasts properly, but we'll put that in there.